Statistics said I'm supposed to be a crackhead like my mother. Statistics said I was supposed to be a high school dropout. But God said, no, I command you to be in this world. So what I'm telling you right now is to don't look at your obstacles. Look at who you are and believe in who you are.
After hearing Terica's story and saying, you know, I don't just buy homes anymore. I buy communities, and I name the streets after my kids.
Watching my son walk up to his street sign. Looking at my children's names, Sheldon, Natea, Layla, and Tyreek. How you feel about that?
That hit different.
It hit different?
That's a different feeling right there.
It's a different feeling?
Even on a cloudy day, it still look good.
Your children and your grandchildren are going to be able to come see that.
And my grandchildren.
That's right. Everybody in the family.
Love you, Mom. Love you.
Hey, what's up? Am I loading? Yes. Okay. What's up? Welcome to our power class. Please go ahead, drop in the chat. Let me know if you guys can hear me loud and clear. Just put some ones in the chat, some twos in the chat. Drop where you guys are coming from. I am so super excited about this power class. I get excited every time I host them, but this time I feel like it's going to be a little different. I actually added in a few different teaching points. And so I cannot wait to be able to dive into this with you guys and to be able to share with you guys all of the new things that we actually been working on for these power classes. But I want to make sure that you guys can see me and hear me and make sure everything is good. My team, we ready to go. So first, let's just talk about the rules in the class, right? Every time you come to any class, there's going to be some rules, okay? So I got to be able to give you guys the rules in advance just so y'all don't be like, nobody told me not to do that, okay? The first thing you have to do is open up your mind, okay? Tonight is going to be a new you, right? We're at the last month of the year, and then we're headed into 2025, okay? So literally, if you're in this room, you're here for a reason. So the one of the easiest things and yet the hardest things is to open up your mind. Do you know that closed minds shut doors? Closed minds shut doors. So if your mind is not open, if you're not prepared, if you're not ready, if you're not open, you're going to shut your mind off to all of the teachings that you're learning tonight. And guess what happens? You're going to go into the same cycle that you're trying to get out of. The second thing I need you to do is make sure you have your pen and your paper, okay? I can't express how important it is to take notes. I am not one who remembers something the very first time I hear it. So I personally have to take notes, okay? You can tell me something, I may remember it, but if I write it down, I have a higher chance of remembering. And if I repeat it after I hear it and write it down, then I have an even higher chance of it. So whenever I tell you guys to take action and to do something, like if I say let's try right now, type in power in the chat right now. Just type in power in the chat right now. What you just did was your mind instantly thought about power. Your mouth said power, it should have, right? And then you typed in power. So I want for you guys to go ahead and get those Twitter fingers ready because we're going to be typing all night. This is going to be our interactive class, okay? Then we will have no energy vampires. For those of you who do not know what an energy vampire is, that is someone who sucks all the positivity out of the room or out of your life. You probably know an energy vampire right now. You might be sitting next to an energy vampire right now. I'm telling you now, we don't play that because there's power in proximity. Right now, you guys are in our circle, okay? That means you have our time and our full attention. So there will be no energy vampires tonight. Somebody put no in the chat right now, okay? Put no in the chat right now. This requires you to interact. This is not going to be a class where you just sit here and you listen and whatever the case may be. No, this is a class where you're going to have to engage, okay? You're going to have to be a part of it. The reason why is because once you get involved, you start getting excited, and then you start believing that you can do something, and then you actually start doing something. So someone in the chat right now put involved. I want to make sure that you're going to be involved tonight. So for those of you who do not know me, right, my name is Terica Lynn Smith. I'm a real estate investor and developer. I have developed a lot of real estate over the years, but even before developing real estate, just so you know, just before the bricks, I was probably like a lot of y'all, right? Like, you know, we all have stories to tell. I always share my story. I don't share my story for sympathy. I share my story because I'm telling you, if you're going through something right now, then you're going to be able to get out of it. You don't have to remain where you are. Like for somebody such as myself who was in foster care most of my life, I hated being in foster care. So I grew up with anger. I grew up with anger because my mother abandoned me. My father abandoned me. You know, she sold me to her drug dealer at the age of 5 years old. Can you imagine at 5 years old having your innocence taken from you? Like, I'm just gonna I'm supposed to be in a psych ward right now. Like, I'm not supposed to be here before you guys, right? But how many of you know that there's power? There's power in the name of God, right? There's power in the name of God. And so I strongly believe it's through God that the reason why I sit here, the reason why I'm able to talk to you guys. So for those of you who do not believe in God, you're probably going to want to leave the room now, because I talk a lot about God. And I am not self-made. I am kingdom-made. And some of you are going to be kingdom-made in this room tonight. Okay, go ahead and drop that kingdom-made. But not just that, right? I had to literally start at the bottom. I started with no handouts. I started with no rich parents. I started with no middle class parents. I started with no parents. At the age of 5 years old, my mother was on drugs. We literally was taking care of ourselves. Aside from me literally taking care of myself and my sisters, I'm literally trying to figure out what we're going to eat. Like, at 5 years old, you shouldn't have to worry about things like that, right? And so I need for you guys to understand that it don't matter what the situation is right now. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what you're going through. I overcame it, and I strongly believe that each and every last one of you can overcome it. I don't care if you're in a bad marriage right now. I don't care if your finances is not right now. I don't care if you feel like, you know, your job, whatever it is, you can make it through. I promise you, you can. But the first thing you have to be willing to do is you have to be willing to bet on yourself. Okay. You have to be willing to believe in yourself. And that's a lot easier said than done, because of the simple fact it took me some years to get over that depressed little girl who I was. Even as an adult, that depressed little girl still lived inside of me. Like, do that make sense? Like, you a grown adult, but you're still dealing with childhood trauma. How many of us, like, I know I'm not the only one, like, just drop in the chat, just say me. Like, just say, I got to come over this. I got to overcome this. I got to get through this, right? Just put me in the chat right now. But I never thought in a million years that my test that I was going through in life would be my testimony. I don't believe that God had anything to do with the ill intentions of my parents, or the situations that I went through, or even me choosing a knucklehead at the age of 16 years old to get pregnant by, and 17 years old having my first child. But because I went through all of that, I was able to be a little bit more, I would say, tenacious, right, than what your average person would be. And so for those of you who's healing through that childhood trauma, for those of you who's going through hell right now, for those of you who's like, I need a new start right now, for those of you who's saying, I just need to be in a room and hear something different, for those of you who they told you got mental health issues, for those of you who feel lost and confused, I'm telling you now that you can make it through. You can overcome. Okay, somebody put overcome in the chat right now. If I can overcome it, you can overcome it. Okay, most of you guys don't know, but I don't just own real estate, right? I own, somebody put 1K in the chat. 1K in the chat. I want to be able to hang out with you guys. I'm actually going to be throwing a 1K party. But I started with one single real estate investment property, and now I have 1,000 real estate investment deals. That, I'm telling you, somebody who was poor, somebody who was homeless up under a bridge with a baby, I hit 1K. I'm telling you now that there's nothing that the blood of Jesus cannot fix for you and or do for you, period. Okay? My test was a test. I passed it with my obedience. And because of my obedience, it's been pressed down, shaken, and runneth over. So that's why I say we have to be able to heal from that childhood trauma. Okay? So tonight, before we get started, you need to ask yourself a question. Am I in the right room? Right? Are you ready to make time for investing? Are you ready to make time for investing? Are you looking to learn more about investing? I need to see those yeses burning up in the chat right now. Are you ready to put in the work? I'm about to see, right? Because I'm telling you, every year I host my 5-day property challenge, and everybody be like, T, I'm all in. And then you know what happened? The excuses start. Right? I don't have enough time, or I'm going to have to do this, or I have to do that. I'm telling you now, you're going to have to make time for it. You're going to have to be willing to put in the work. You're going to have to be willing to be mentored. Put yes in the chat if you're going to be willing to be mentored, right? If you're going to invest in your education. And for those of you who own real estate and you like, T, I just want to scale, right? This is the room that you got to ask yourself, am I in the right room? Somebody put, I'm in the room right now. I am in the room, okay? In order for you to be able to access, to even have the mindset of even obtaining 1,000 doors, right? You have to get rid of that poor mindset. Now, a lot of people think, oh, poor is just the lifestyle. No. Poor means passing over opportunities repeatedly. You have to be willing to get rid of the poor mindset, passing over opportunities repeatedly. I can offer you $1 million opportunity, but if you have a poor mindset, then you're going to pass it up. How do you know if you have a poor mindset? Because you see cost before you see value. You see, when I see value, I don't see a cost. So if you're going to give me something that's so valuable, I don't care what it costs. I'm going to do what I have to do to get that value, right? It's the same situation. Let's just say, you know, you need $1,000 by the end of the month, or you're going to get put out, okay? That's a scenario where a lot of people have all the time, okay? And I can teach you how to get that $1,000. But in order for me to teach you, you got to come to Louisiana. Are you going to find a way to get that $1,000? You're going to find a way to make it to Louisiana? Yes or no, right? Mindset of the poor is, I can't do something because of something. How many of us have said that? How many of us have said, I can't do it because I don't have enough money. I can't do it because I don't know enough information. I can't do it because the people around me, they don't understand what I'm doing. How many of you understand that poor is a mindset? And until you get rid of poor, which is nothing but excuses, you're going to always be in the exact same situation, passing over opportunities. I'm not talking about what you got in the bank account. I'm talking about your mindset right now. I have this thing in my office, right? I have staff, okay? And anytime I ask my business partner how much someone's making, I don't see value. It's like clockwork. I don't see it. But if I never ask what somebody make, and I can be paying them 6 figures a year and never ask a question, it's because they bring more value to me than the actual dollar amount that I'm putting out. So I need you to stop counting the cost and start counting the value. Another thing is some of y'all get punched in the face and then you go home crying. You have to be willing to figure this out. This is not going to be easy. It's not get rich overnight. It's not, oh, I'm going to be a millionaire. You know, it took me 18, 19, 20 years to get to where I'm at. It didn't happen overnight. But am I excited that I'm here now? Yes. Would I have been excited if I was here a few years earlier? Absolutely. But guess what? I remained consistent with it. It didn't matter. I remained consistent with it. I was going to figure it out. When I first got into real estate, I knew nothing about real estate. So I just went and got a real estate license because I think like most people, you need a real estate license. That is not true, right? To be an investor, you do not need a real estate license. But I became a real estate agent. And I remember I would walk around the office with a real estate contract and I would ask people, how do you fill this out? Now, mind you, my broker should have helped me fill this out, but he did not, okay? He did not. So I literally was going from agent to agent to agent to agent trying to figure out how to fill out a contract. And nobody showed me. So you know what I did? I just filled it out myself. I filled out the contract. It was not right. I turned it into my broker. And you know what he said? Terica, this contract is not right. I said, really? I said, well, I asked you for help and you was too busy. But you can't knock me down. You can punch me in the face. I might cry. I might say, ouch. I may say it hurt, but I will get back up. So I went to the next agent and they were busy. And you know what else? I went to the next agent and they were busy. And I kept going round and round, round and round, round and round. And you know what? While everybody was busy, I just figured it out. And because I didn't figure it out right, didn't mean I didn't figure it out. I just figured out a way to be able to get your attention. So you have to be willing to figure it out, right? You have to be willing to fight, not just for yourself, but for your family, for your loved ones, for your children, but most importantly, for yourself. I tell my inner circle this. I said, I invest so I can rest. Somebody put that in the chat. I invest so I can rest. It's simple. Why do you want to invest? Because you want to rest. Because you're tired, because you've been going through some things, because you got to wake up every single morning like clockwork, and you got to clock in and you got to clock out. So you know what? I want some rest. And if you're telling me that if I can just be consistent and put in the time and work hard, I can start getting some rest, then God dog it, I'm in the right room. I'm going to get some rest. So in order for me to get some rest, I have to be able to invest. So I'm telling you now, don't think that you will be able to rest without investing. It will not happen, okay? You will always work for $1 until you understand how money works. You will always work for $1, okay? So the first thing that I did when I got started in real estate, well, not just started, right? Because it took me some time to get there. But I later figured out in life that I followed what's called the DVD method, okay? Now, I'm not going to reveal my age, but how many of us remember DVDs back in the day? I cannot believe I am in a generation who do not know what DVDs are, okay? Asked my 12-year-old son to go get me a DVD out our movie room. He had no clue what that meant. He don't know what a DVD is, a VHS, a cassette tape. He don't know what none of that is, right? So that's just the generation we in right now. But the DVD method means direction, vehicle, and destination. You need to know where you are headed. Okay? How many of you get in a car and don't know where to go? That's what it's like. investing in real estate and not having no mentor, not, not understanding the process. You just get in the car, you don't know where you're headed, right? So we're going to give you direction tonight. And then we're going to help you choose a vehicle. You don't plan to walk and take the long way. So which vehicle will help you get there the fastest? Which vehicle is going to help you get there the fastest? There's many vehicles in real estate, and we're going to talk about them, okay? But you're going to have to be able to choose a vehicle. Then there's destination. Stay on the highway until you see your exit. Some of y'all are distracted. You're getting off on the wrong exit. You're taking the wrong turns. You're going the wrong way. I'm telling you now, it's taking you a lot longer to get to the destination because you keep getting off on a detour route. Every time you turn around, you take a detour. What's a detour? People can be detour. Things can be detours. You can be detours. So you got to ask yourself, am I a detour? Like, am I the reason why I haven't reached this destination yet? Like, why am I still 40 years old and don't have a game plan? Like, I see my 401k, I see my IRA, I see that I have something, but I know that with the way the economy is going, that's not going to be enough to take care of me. So I got to be able to figure this out. I got to be able to have another stream of income. I got to stop getting off the interstate when it's not time. Some of you just simply got to mind your own business. Stay out the shade room. Y'all know more about Puff Daddy's situation than you know about your own bank statement. Give me your last 10 transactions. I can't, but you can tell me he had 1,000 bottles of baby oil. You can tell me Cat Williams broke the internet. You can tell me Rick Ross don't keep the same girlfriend. We need to learn more about ourselves. We need to be in our own bag. We need to be in our own lane. I don't care what they have going on because at the end of the day, the last time I looked up, Puffy children are still rich. Okay. They still got a trust. Y'all think, look, I'm telling you now, it's distractions. Okay. So we got to stop getting off on the wrong exit. We got to stop taking detours. We got to stop looking at everything else that everybody else have going on, and we have to look at ourselves. Whenever I got like focused on what it is I'm going to do, who I'm going to be, where I'm going to go, I did not look to my left or my right. I don't know who was on the left side of me in that lane or who was on the right side of me on the other side of the lane. But what I can tell you is that I knew straight ahead the exit I was looking for. And my husband couldn't get me to get off that interstate. My children couldn't get me to get off that interstate. Not a circumstance in this world could cause me to get off the interstate and take a detour because I was sick and tired of living paycheck to paycheck. I was sick and tired of the payday loans. I was sick and tired of not having rest. So I knew that I had to keep on going until I was able to reach the exit. I had to keep on going. So how much money do you want to make as an investor? And do you have the time? So this is the thing, right? A lot of us, we want to make the money in real estate, but we don't want to put in the time. I can't express enough how much time you do have. Okay? When you look at your social media hours, that is time. Okay? Do you understand that YouTube, Google, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, they have figured out a way to capture our attention? Do you know how expensive your attention is? Let me clear my throat. Do you understand how expensive your attention is? There's investors out there paying billions of dollars for your attention because they have your attention. That means they have your views. You are a viewer. So that means every time you click and watch something, that is $1 into that person who created that platform pocket. So you know they call you, there's feeders and there's eaters. Feeders is people who put stuff on the internet for other people to go eat. It's true, right? You guys clicked on this ad. Why? Because I fed you. Now you're sitting in class. Why? Because you're an eater. But guess what? Now you know you want to be a feeder. You can't unhear what you hear. Every time you get on social media, I need you to hear that $ clicking. Ka-ching. I need you to hear that sound every single time, because every time you say you don't have time to invest, but you up here on social media and you doing all these other things, you do have it. You're just giving it to somebody else. So then it's like, which vehicle, right? There's fix and flip, multifamily, development, single family investing, mobile home parks, storage units, parking lots, retail space, office space. Which vehicle do I want to take? Right now, drop in the chat, somebody, which one of these vehicles you want to take. I tell you one thing, a lot of people love the fix and flip. Again, until you get punched in the face, right? A lot of people love the multifamily until you got a whole entire empty building and you still got to pay the mortgage. A lot of people love developments until nobody bought a property, right? You got to be willing to get punched in the face. This is the long game. I can't tell you how many black eyes I done got. I can't tell you how many haircuts I done got. I can't tell you how many times I got knocked down. But guess what? It don't matter how many times I got knocked down, because when I look at my bank account, I don't even remember. That's the difference. I was willing to push through. Somebody say push in the chat right now. Somebody say push in the chat right now. I was willing to push through. I had to push through. I had my son at 17 years old. I had to push through. My whole life up until that point, I was a victim. My whole life up until that point, I was the victim. The hell I went through, I should have never went through. No parent should ever torment their children and submit them to that type of trauma. But it doesn't matter. I cannot erase my past. I can't change the hand that was dealt to me in life. But what I can do is, you guys ever play poker, right? Poker is a game where you got to bluff, okay? And for some of you, if you don't know how to play poker, I bet you know how to play spades, okay? And you got to know how to count those books in your hand. I'm telling you, I was dealt the worst hand in life, okay? I should have been every single statistic that they said I was supposed to be, right? I was supposed to be on drugs. I was supposed to be a high school dropout. I was a teenage mom. That was for sure, right? I was homeless. That was for sure. So there were some statistics I didn't break, but there was some that I did break. But it didn't matter, because I had to learn how to play the hand that God dealt me. At this point in time in my life, this is my hand. So I'm going to look with a straight face, and it's time to play the game. I'm going to look with a straight face, and I'm going to stop being a victim. I'm going to look with a straight face. I'm going to claim the victory, because this little boy didn't ask to be in this world. And if I wasn't careful, I was about to create a generational curse. I was going to throw him into that same cycle that I was in, the same cycle that my mother went through, the same cycle that my grandmother went through. You know, those pedophiles that's in the family and everybody keep them a secret, right? I had to be careful, because I was getting ready to be the victim again. But having him, it forced me to say, okay, this is the hand I got, and this is the hand I'm going to play. Nobody else around me got to know how horrible this hand is. Nobody else have to go through the hell that I went through. Nobody else have to look through the eyes that I have to look through. Nobody else have to hear the thoughts I hear, or the things I have to say. So I have to play this hand the best I can. And I'm going to play this hand like I never played it before. You see, the thing about, the trauma that I went through, I feel like it made me street strong. I feel like it put me in a position in life where no matter what came up against me, I was like a wall. You ran into a brick wall every time you try to tear me down, every time you try to destroy my name, every time you try to, break me. Every brick that was thrown was back up. What's going to happen? So again, say the hand you have. It doesn't matter if your hand look like my hand or not. We playing poker, we're playing spades. We gonna make this work, right? It has to work. It has to work. It's no other options. That's why you're in the room, because you're saying I'm sick and tired of not being where I want to be. So somewhere in this class, there's going to be something that hit, and it's going to stick with you, and it's going to change your life. Then you got the destination. What does freedom look like for you? How will you know that you can stop? You see, this is why I always start with the exit, right? So whenever I do my 5-day property challenge, and I'm going to tell you guys more about that. How many of you want to spend 5 days with me? I got a lot of teaching to do. I can't do it all in this one seating, but I'm going to teach you guys tonight. I'm going to teach you how to start at zero, and I'm going to teach you how to start with $5,000. But how many of you would be like, look, I like 5 more days because this is good, right? Put me in the chat. But what does freedom look like for you, right? What does freedom look like for you? How will you know? I'll tell you how I know. That's how I know. Looking up at that street sign with my son, owning me. I don't have to check in or check out. My time is my time. Next week, I'll be in St. Lucia with my husband, celebrating our anniversary. My energy, I control my energy. My finances, I'm not worrying about a dollar. I'm not worrying about inflation or deflation or inflation creation. I'm not worrying about none of that, right? I'm not worrying about none of that because I'm owning myself, my time, my energy, and my finances. My freedom is how I know. My freedom is when I don't have to look in my bank account and check to see if I can do something. My freedom is when I don't got to call somebody and clock in and clock out. My freedom is when I get to wake up when I want and go to bed when I want. My freedom is if I want to be on this internet teaching you guys or if I don't. That's my freedom. That's my exit. Watching my husband retire in his 30s. That's my freedom. Watching that man work hard for 15 years. 12 to 15 years, going to work, working 2 to 3 jobs just to make it for us, just to believe that the hand I was playing was a winning hand. He believed the hand I was playing was a winning hand. And he's seen all the scars, he's seen all the wounds, he's seen all the hurt, he's seen all the pain. But that man knew one thing about me. If you knock me down, I'm going to get back up. That's what my freedom looked like. So if I had $0, because I told you guys, I was going to show you guys how I started. Like, well, not how I started, how I would start, right? Because I started with my $5,000 tax return. But when I started, guess what I started running into? Yo, you don't always need money. If I had $0, I would look for a free mobile home that needs a little bit of work and can remain in a trailer park. I will look on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, local newspaper ads, right? Look, guys, let me tell you something, all right? Turn your nose up at a trailer all you want. That is income. I'm going to show you guys how you make money with trailers. Try to find at least a 2 to 3 bedroom trailer, okay? Try to find a 2 to 3 bedroom trailer. If I had $0, now some of you are like, you can't get no mobile home for free. Test it. Test it. There's people all the time on Facebook giving away trailers for free. Literally, right? If I still had $0 after I found a trailer, right? I'm going to contact the seller and I'm going to sign a bill of sale. You can meet them at the DMV to transfer the title, right? Katie said most got to be moved. Katie, let me tell you something. Mindset, mindset, mindset. Words have power. Words have power. Words have power. I'm going to find me a mobile home that can stay exactly where it's at. I'm going to find me a mobile home that's going to be for free. I'm going to find me a mobile home no matter what I have to do. I'm going to find me a mobile home because I got to figure this out. I'm going to find me this free mobile home because Terica taught a class and said that I can find it. I'm going to find me a mobile home. I'm going to do what I have to do. You can meet them at the DMV to transfer the title. Come on, guys. Our words have power. What you speak over yourself is what you're going to receive. You see, let me explain to you guys something, right? I need for you to know I'm just a resource. I'm just a resource, okay? There's only one source. But I am grateful that God has made me a resource to you guys, to be able to pour into you guys and to be able to show you how to create generational wealth through real estate investing. But in order to do that, please take my advice. Your words have power. Your words have power. So watch your mouth. Watch how you speak over your circumstances. Some of you going through hell right now because you're speaking word curses over yourself. You can't figure out why the situation keep on happening because you keep on playing with it. You keep on putting your mouth on it. Every time you say something, get on your nerves, but then your shoulder hurt. Why? Because you keep on speaking it. You keep on saying something getting on your nerves. So that's why your nerves hurt. Some of you, words don't have a sense of humor, but they do have power. Anytime somebody be like, oh, I'm dying laughing, I'm like, no, I don't want you to die laughing. That's how serious I take words. So watch your mouth when you're speaking, because at the end of the day, you're going to either speak life or you're going to speak death. You're going to speak life or you're going to speak death over your situation. And some of you, and this is for somebody, I don't know who this is for, but I'm here to tell you right now, stop looking at the facts of life and start looking at the promises God promised you, because it's so easy to get caught up in the facts. It's so easy to get caught up in the circumstances. It's so easy to get caught up in the story. It's so easy to get caught up in the wilderness. It's so easy to get caught up in the valley. But I'm telling you now, when you just look up and you believe and remember that God has a promise for you. He said that there's no weapon formed against you shall prosper. So why are you worried? Why are you burdened by what you're burdened by? So let me get back to the trailer. If the trailer can remain in the trailer park, then all you have to do is sign a lease with the park. Pay the lot rent. If it can remain, pay the lot rent and turn on utilities, right? So now it's like, okay, I have this trailer. I got the title. I got the bill of sale. I'm ready to move forward. But you need money for the repairs. Then I would see if I could qualify to get a credit card. Not much. Just give me a credit card with $5,000. I said light repairs. I said light repairs. Remember that. So if I can get a credit card for $5,000 and I can fix it up, then I can do this deal by myself. Let me tell you guys something. I did not know my next step when I bought my first investment property. I just did step one. I had to trust and believe that God was going to order my steps. I had to trust and believe that God was going to be able to show me what to do next. I had to walk by faith and not by sight, because when I tell you, your girl didn't know what the heck she was doing, but I was going to figure it out, because I'm telling you, when you're street strong, you just know how to figure some of these things out. So I would do light repairs. And if I got denied for the credit card, then I would find someone who has $5,000 to partner with, and I would split the deal with them 50-50. This is how it goes. Hey, I have a mobile home that I own. I cannot afford to do the repairs. But if you come in on this deal with me, then I'm going to give you 50% of the rent profits. It's simple. I'm going to split the deal with you 50-50. I'm going to figure out a way to make this work. I'm going to find the mobile home. I'm going to find the money to fix up the mobile home. There's nothing I cannot do. Why? Because I'm made in his image. Words have power. So as long as I know that God is going to order my next step, I'm just going to take the step. I'm just going to believe it. That's that radical faith. That's that radical belief. Some of you got money and you're crippled by it. You so scared to spend your money. You so afraid to lose your money. You're being bullied by your own bank account. Every time a dollar come in there, you remind me of the servant who went and buried his gold. That one bag of gold, because he didn't want to lose it. He didn't want to risk it. That's what happens, though. But when you spend 5 days with me, baby, I open you all the way up, okay? We're going to be very intimate and close, okay? But then you go and bury it. I'm telling you now, stop allowing your money to bully you. Invest that money. Money is a tool. And once you understand that money is a tool and it's supposed to be invested, it's supposed to bring you back a return. When you understand, I just said I hit 1K. That means that there's going to be 1,000 checks coming to me. Now, of course, I'm going to sell off some property. I'm going to get into some new property. I'm going to cancel a business partnership that I'm in the middle of right now. And I'm going to keep on growing. But it does not matter. 1,000 checks are coming. Can you imagine 1,000 checks at the first of the month? It's the first of the month. Get up, get up, get up, get up. Can you imagine that? Just close your eyes right now and visualize 1,000 checks coming to you every single month. Somebody say, I invest so I can rest. I invest so I can rest. Do you think 1,000 checks with an average rental income of $600 would make you rest? Just asking. Yes or no? Yes or no? Can you imagine? At first, I did not understand the song Bone Thugs and Harmony came out with it's the first of the month. Wake up, wake up. I ain't get that. Like as a kid, we was all singing that song, right? But baby, when the first hit, it hits. And it feels good. And for some of you, this is your season to be on the side that when it hits and it feels good. If this is good, put good in the chat right now. If this is good for you, put good in the chat right now. After fixing up the property, then I will look for a buyer who wants to do owner financing. I would charge them $5,000 down and up to $800 a month for 2 years. Y'all may think this sounds crazy, but I'm not telling y'all to do something I haven't done. Have I not showed you and told you that you can go and look for free mobile homes on the internet? Now I'm telling you how to run the play. Somebody wants to own a home. It's real estate. Everybody's going to always want to own a home. So I'm going to say, hey, I'm not going to just rent it out regular. I'm going to do owner financing. That means I'm going to be the bank. I just flipped that credit card, or I just flipped with my business partner. Now, guess what? I'm the bank. So now I'm going to put on Facebook, mobile home, owner financing, $5,000 down, $800 a month for 2 years. Oh, now it's becoming familiar to you because you done read those ads on Facebook. You done seen it on Marketplace. You done seen all of this, and now it's like, oh my goodness, this is making sense. Oh my goodness. Right? How many of us have seen that? Owner financing. Y'all laughing because the people put owner financing on a mobile home. But what you don't see is whenever the listing is removed, a buyer has come in, paid the $5,000, and guess what? $800 a month, baby. Keep going. So if I had no partner and I used a credit card, then I would use the rental profit to pay the credit card bill. I'm not about to make this. Look, Assets and liabilities. Asset, put money in your pocket. Liabilities, take it out. So getting a credit card to be able to fix up the mobile home would be considered a good debt because you're going to use the income from the mobile home to be able to pay the credit card bill. And I will use the profit to buy another mobile home, preferably in the same mobile home park. So this is how it goes, y'all. $5,000 down payment, $800 rental payment times 24. That's $24,200. Oh, I'm talking spicy right now. I'm talking real spicy right now. Oh, y'all didn't know this was coming tonight. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the $24,200. I'm going to deduct the $5,000 that I used for the credit card and or whatever. The repairs were $5,000. No matter how I got it, it was $5,000. So now the example says I'm left with $19,200. But guess what? I still got to pay light rent because it can remain in the park. So because it can remain in the park, I still got to pay the light rent. So the lot rent, let's just say it's $200 a month times 2 years, right? That's 24 months. That's another $4,800. So now I'm going to take that expense, $19,200 minus $4,800. That's $14,400. Hey guys, I started with zero. Let me just remind you guys of something, right? Whenever you are in a room like this and you're being introduced to things like this, the very first thing I said is close minds, shut doors. How many of your minds are still open? Say me in the chat right now. Wait, you mean to tell me just because my active obedience, $14,400. How many of us can use that? Put me in the chat right now. $14,400. My business partner is happy if I had to use one. If I couldn't get approved for a credit card, I'm going to find somebody to give me $5,000. But guess what? Some of you be like, but what if I can't find somebody? Words have power. Let me tell you guys the power of words. Do me one favor. If you take away anything tonight, take away this. Replace what if with even if. What if I can't find a business partner? That's what it sounds like. Even if I get told no 5 times, I'm going to the 6th person. Even if that 6th person say no, I'm going to the 7th person. Even if that 7th person say no, I'm going to the 8th person. Even if that 8th person say no, I'm going to the 9th person. Even if that 9th person say no, I'm going to the 10th person. Because you know what? I'm not going to stop until I get a yes. So even if I got to go through the valley of the shadow of death, I will not fear no evil. I will keep on walking. Even if the storm is pouring, I'm still going to do it. Even if I get off this call tonight, I'm still going to do it. Even if nobody else believes in me, I'm still going to do it. Even if I get denied by the credit card company, I'm still going to do it. Even if one credit card company say no, and I talk to 10 more and they say no. Even if. See, it's not just about going out to find the deals, because you got to be able to get your mindset ready to go through what you got to go through to get there. Do you think if it was easy, don't you think if this was easy, everybody would be doing it? Like if this was so easy, everybody would be doing it. But it's because you got to have an even if mindset. Even if I get kicked off this call, I'm getting back on. Even if it's going glitching and it's going in and out, I'm getting back on this call. I don't care. Even if I'm going to show up. Even if. Put in the work and find someone. Can you stop being the baby? When. You got an investment property. Go find somebody to partner with you. Right? Ask for partnerships, not favors. I'm not looking for nobody to do me a favor. I'm going to 10 different people, even if, because I got a deal. I got somebody, I'm about to make somebody some money. If you just partner with me, I am good soil, baby. You sow that seed in me, I'm fertile, okay? You go ahead and sow that seed deep in the ground. I guarantee you it's going to grow, because everything I touch turns into gold, right? Words have power. And I believe that. And so every time I acquire an investment, I believe that and I say that. Every single time, everything I touch turns to gold. So I'm not about to buy no bad investment property. I'm not about to go and get in a bad business deal. I'm not about to go and do this or do that, because everything I touch, right? Check the market every single day. You may go on Facebook today and see nothing and have to go back. If I had $5,000, I would tell you guys exactly how I did it with my tax return. This is my story, right? I knew that I was sick and tired of going from one payday loan company to another, to another, to another. So I had to figure out a way to make this work, okay? So when I got my tax return, you know that thought you have in your head, well, oh, I got this extra money. Let me go pay off some bills so I can get all this pressure off of me. You have to invest so you can rest, okay? You have to invest so you can rest. So that means that even if you go and pay off those bills, you still would not be able to rest, because you're still going to keep on doing it. So think about this. Why rush? Because you're only getting this payment one time a year. Why not take that $5,000 tax return and go and invest it? Having the confidence I could find something for that price. I had to believe in it, right? Most people are like, you can't find no property for $5,000. Hey, go to auction.com. Go to auction.com. Put in 0, right? It's going to start with properties starting at $1 bids, right? So I had a wholesaler who called me back. He wanted $9,000. I only had $5,000. I needed money to fix up the trailer. So I had a real estate commission check that was coming in for $3,000. Now, y'all, I needed every single penny of the money I had. I did not have thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Some of you are in a much better place than what I could have ever been in. Some of you are in a much better place than I could have ever been in. I just had to start where I was. I had to start exactly where I was. I could not look at what Beth had or John had or Sue had. I had to look at what Terica Lynn Smith had, and I had to make it work. Some of you, you got 2 pennies. Clack them things together and make it work. We know how to make some things work. So then I went to the bank with my 580 credit score. Now, mind you, I was sending all the investors that I was working with as a real estate agent to my banker. And I had a 580 credit score. This is not a credit score that you can normally get financing for. This is not a great credit score at all. This is a do not give her money, run type of credit score, right? But my banker said, Terica, you could have been came to me. I can approve X amount of dollars on my own. I said, what? He looked at me. He said, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to send the appraisal out and I'm going to get the property appraised, right? So the appraisal came back at $60,000. $60,000, y'all. I bought the property for $5,000. I put $3,000 into the property. I'm into the property for $8,000. The bank appraised my property for $60,000. I can't make this up. Just in this 1 hour, I done gave you guys so much value. Put value in the chat right now if you feel like that. So because you can't do it in your own will, you believe it can't be done. But this is why I said in the beginning that you're going to have to push through those closed mindsets, because as long as that mindset remains closed, you'll never experience the freedom of financial freedom. You'll never experience it. You'll never experience it, because you will not let go of your old thinking. You will not let go of your fear. I tell my inner circle this all the time. Fear and favor cannot be in the same room. It's like light and dark. It cannot coexist. When somebody dark come near me with negativity, always talking about people, always got something going wrong in their life, it's like two magnets. We can't even get this close together, because before I know it, that light is just going to outpower that darkness. You know, the funny thing about darkness is when you close your eyes, you can't see. In the dark, you can't see where you're going. You can't see where you're headed. There's power with being in the light. So my banker said I could have came to him. What? So now that I'm like, okay, your girl got approved. Like, thank God your girl got approved. I literally received the check from my banker for $48,000. Wait, I invested $8,000. $8,000. The bank gave me 80% of the value of the property. 80%. So if you understand that the real estate dollar is going to always be different than the actual dollar, because you get more buying power with the real estate dollar, right? The bank says, I'll give you another example. Let's say you want to buy a property for $100,000, but you don't have $100,000. The bank says, give me $20,000 and I'll give you the $80,000. It's simple. That's how it goes. So because I owned the property free and clear, when the appraisal came back at $60,000, the bank gave me a loan for $48,000. Now, guess what? Put in your phone right now, in your calculator, $225,000. Put that number, just type that number out, put it somewhere, right? And times 20%, okay? So $225,000 times 20%. You should get $48,000 or close to it. So now you mean to tell me I can go and buy a property that's $250,000 with $48,000? What? The bank said, I'm going to give you 80% of that $225,000. I just need you to come with the remaining. So what happens is now I have $48,000 that I can go and invest up to $225,000, if not more, because the bank is going to give me 80% of whatever I find. The bank is going to give me 80% of whatever I find. Y'all, the only way that this happened was because I went all in. I was committed to my yes. I was committed to stand on the interstate. I was committed to my even if. In the middle of the storm, while it is raining and pouring and all hell is breaking loose, and I don't know how I'm gonna make payments and how I'm gonna do things, I said, even if I'm gonna stand here, I shall not be moved. I'm gonna make this work. Some of you right now, your promise is on the other side of your obedience. All you have to do is just be obedient. You have to be willing to invest in yourself. You have to be willing to go all in. I just taught you guys how to do it with $0, and I just taught you how to do it with $5,000. How many of you say, T, I can do this? Put me in the chat right now. Somebody put me in the chat right now. My son's name is Terica, and that is us looking at his name on a street sign in the neighborhood that I birthed because of my yes. Because I planted the seeds. And because I told you guys, I am fertile soil. So anything that is invested it grows. This was not an easy neighborhood to build. This neighborhood got us recognition all the way to the White House for the Opportunity Zone. We did not know what this looked like. We did not know investing into this community, every bank was going to tell us no. I did not know that I was going to go through hell and back to be able to redevelop this community. But I stood strong and I stayed in there. And every time I got punched in the face, I remembered when I was a little girl and I got knocked down, I got back up. So as an adult, when I get punched in the face and I get knocked down, I get back up. And because I was able to get back up, I was able to stand up. And because I was able to stand up, I was able to speak up. And because I was able to speak up, I was able to talk and get into rooms with people who could help me make this happen. I was no longer relying upon myself. I was no longer believing in the lies that I had to do it by myself. I believed that there was power in proximity. I believed that there was power in group economics. And so I went and talked to a few investors. And when they told me no, I went to a few more. And when they told me no, I would stay out to 9 and 10 o'clock at night, collecting money, trying to figure out how to make this investment work until it worked. I had to make this investment work until it worked. I was committed to my yes. I was committed to my son. I was committed to my family. But most important, I was committed to that little girl inside of me. I was committed to changing her. I was committed to being the victor that I knew that she could be. So somebody say, I got to bet on myself sometimes, because when I was dealt the hand looked it horrible. But what I did was I reshuffled the cards and I redealt my hand. And so now when I look at my hand, I don't see that poor little girl from New Orleans no more. I see a kingdom-made millionaire. I see a room shaker. Every time I go in the room, I make it shake. I see somebody who's making other people start investing in real estate. I see a cycle breaker. I see the breaker of chains. I see a resource that has come from the source. So when everybody tried to cut me out when I was a little girl, when the devil tried to take me out when I was a little girl, he should have killed me then, but he didn't. He didn't. He should have killed you then, but he didn't. So for those of you that's in this room right now, I'm telling you, the only way you're going to be able to do what I do and get to this level is by betting on yourself, believing in yourself, putting in the time and putting in the work. I'm not telling you you're going to get rich overnight, but I'm telling you, if you do this like I did, no matter how many times I got knocked down, and your girl got knocked down, like I'm talking Ike Turner knocked out, okay? But I believed in myself. And it was more important for me to prove to that little girl in myself that I can be something and I can become someone. No matter how many times they tried to tear me down, I was able to become Terica Lynn Smith. I was Terica Lynn Smith before the internet even knew who I was. When God gave me my identity and I seen a glimpse of my life through his eyes, I seen myself the way that God seen me. I am wonderfully made. I am highly anointed. When I see myself how God see me, I am a demon slayer. When I see myself how God see me, I'm a giant slayer. When I see myself how God see me, it ain't a giant before me that I can't take out with 2 stones. That's the type of mindset you have to have.